My name is Molly, and with me is my partner, Christine. And this is Empower Hour. It's something that we started back in January, and we've really grown about people talking and sending us messages. We hope you're one of them. What we do is we have kind of it's a casual agenda. We do have some things that we definitely want to make sure that we get across tonight to chat with you and to get your input. Tonight we're going to talk about the influence of your inner circle and how important it is the people you surround yourself with. But before we get to that topic, we also like to start with a little bit of a centering exercise, because we never know where you're joining us, if you're joining us live, if you're joining us on the replay, if you're having a crapola day, if you're checking this out over your noon hour. So we'd like to just really integrate and start off with a great exercise that is a great centering process to get us all in the same place for just a moment, for just an hour in a timeline. And so tonight, I think Christine's going to kick off that and just lead us through it. So whenever you're ready, I'm going to go on mute and just let you take it from here.
Awesome. Hopefully no more windows pop up with YouTube and extra bonus us. So like Molly said, before we dive in tonight, let's just take a moment to get present, because the topic is one that hits home for many of us. So go ahead and close your eyes if you feel safe to do so. And if you are not driving, if you are driving, please keep those eyes on the road. Take a deep breath through your nose. Pause at the top, and now let it out through your mouth. One more time. Let's take a deep breath in. Pause, and let it go through the mouth. Now, with your eyes closed, if you wish, bring to mind the 5 people you spend the most time with. Picture them. What do they look like? I'll give you a moment. Think about how you feel after being around them. Do you feel energized? Do you feel drained? Do you feel supported? Do you feel judged? Just notice what comes up. You don't need to analyze it right now. You don't need to get into a therapy session over it, but just note it. Note the emotion. We're just tuning into the energy we've been swimming in, so we can decide what to shift, what to elevate, what to celebrate. Now let's take one more deep breath together. In and out. Now open your eyes and let's talk about how to make sure your circle is your rocket fuel, not your anchor. Thank you for doing that with me.
You're welcome. So I like visualization, although I will just briefly say there are a certain portion of humans who can't visualize, and I cannot remember the name of it. It's an actual brain thing where they cannot see. Like if I were to say, think of a red apple, some people could think of a red apple, but some people, it just will not visualize. So if you're one of those folks who can't visualize, I hope with that exercise, you thought about the way that you felt when you're around people, because your body is such an amazing barometer for how you feel, and it's a great communicator. And so tonight we're going to talk briefly again about the 5 people that are in your inner circle. And for purposes of today, I'd like you to try to break that out into 2 different groups. So I think there are 5, but groups kind of go out. I want you to think about the 2 types of groups. Ones that you feel forced to be on. Notice that they're on a specific coffee shop before you go to work. Those are what I would consider involuntary circles for right now. And the other ones are the ones where you really choose to say, I am going to spend time with this person for an extended amount of time on purpose for some reason. Now, the reason I break those things out is that we are always surrounded by, and we surround ourselves with people who complement us complement with an E, so that means they are basically an opposite of us, or somehow they offset or reflect something. Or we choose people because they make us feel comfortable. And sometimes those comfort levels are places where we keep ourselves surrounded and cocooned because we don't want to risk things, or we don't want to change, or we don't want to grow. And so we might surround ourselves with people who don't really ask a lot of us. So, anyway, those are some things I'd like you to kind of think about for just a second before we keep talking. I don't know if, anytime you want to hop in, Christine, just let me know. But one of the
I
biggest
do,
things that I
I do
did,
super quick before we go further, if you can just put a pin in that for just a hot second. I don't know if it was just on my end, but some of your audio was a little garbled. And it was right when you started talking about the two different groups. So I think it cleared up when I think we heard some of it, but can you just very briefly recap the two groups?
yes. So there are two different orbits. We're going to just talk about two because we live in lots of
Yeah.
orbits. There's
Was
lots of
it
orbits.
involuntary,
There's
involuntary?
involuntary, which those were going to be the places like the clouds of people that you're around. Those could be
Mm,
at the grocery stores that you go to, or the coffee
mm,
shops that you go to, or the buses that you ride on, and look at the people who are in those involuntary orbits. And then the voluntary ones are places where you specifically choose to put yourself, whether that is in a work environment or
mm.
clubs that you join, that you have, things like that. So just when we go through this, it helps to differentiate um, formally chosen groups and ones that you think are coincidental, because the coincidental ones, spoiler alert, aren't as coincidental as you think. So,
Oh,
did that help?
yeah, thank you. Wait,
Okay.
well, okay,
Okay.
wait. What's what the spoiler word? They're not as coincidental as we think. I have questions. What does that mean? I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, then we're kind of getting into well, I'm going to use a marketing analogy because um, I have a background in advertising agencies and marketing, and though the things that you choose in terms of going to a specific store, like here in or here in Chicago, you have Aldi's,
The
Trader
jewels.
Joe's, Jewel's, Mariano's, Whole Foods.
Hmm.
There's a couple of shushy foo grocery stores up in the Gold Coast. Places like that where, again, you're all going to be able to go in presumably and buy a gallon of milk or cheese or whatever, or an apple.
Hmm.
But each one of those stores has an absolutely different vibe, a different group. You're going to be walking along the store and you're going to be picking up your cheese next to someone who has a specific type of not a brand persona, but they're just are
Cachet?
different. Pardon? Cachet, that's a
Cachet?
great word. So I
Yeah.
mean, you we are just little weirdo tribal people, humans are, and we tend to congregate around things, places that make us feel comfortable, or challenge us. And sometimes that challenge makes us comfortable. But it all has to do with, in terms of a FutureU analogy, um, moving through different iterations of who you are necessitates that you get comfortable in different circles, in different places, or put yourself in places where you aspire to be, or things like that. So again, I'm kind of going off. I'd like to zip it for a second, and because I know that Christine has some amazing brain things going on over there, but because
No,
I
thank you
wanted
for
to
going
also,
into that. 'Cause
after we get done with this, we're going to go into why it matters and all sorts of other stuff. But I just wanted to stop talking for a second because
yeah, no, you're great.
talking.
No, thank you. I mean, I learned something there, so that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was just as intrigued, if not more, than our audience. So I love when that happens. Um, yeah, the thing that I wanted to touch on is that um, you can what's what's the phrase? You can choose your friends, but you oh shoot, something about Oh, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose, something along those lines. Uh, we can choose our goals, but when we're hanging around the wrong people, those people highly influence how likely you are to actually reach those goals. And in particular, I wanted to, as always, we're very big on making sure what we're talking about is fact based and has a scientific aspect to it. And so this specific is just more of a quote from the motivational speaker Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, which is why in the centering exercise I picked the 5. 3 might have been easier for that exercise, but while it's not a scientific study, it's a concept backed by behavioral science, and our habits, attitudes, and even our income levels tend to reflect those who we surround ourselves with. And so those voluntary groups of people that Molly is talking about, highly influential. So it's worth examining in your life. How are people energizing you? How are they being energy vampires? I love that phrase. And who's neutral? Who's like meh? And really take stock of how often you're hanging around each of those categories and limit the energy vampires as much as humanly possible. I mean, if it's harder if it's a parent, um, hopefully for obvious reasons because they're your parent. But I mean, there are a lot of cases where children do disown their parents. It's a highly unfortunate situation, but sometimes highly necessary at the same time. So maybe this is the first time you're thinking about who in your life are you purposefully spending time with, because time is our really only finite resource. And so who we spend it with really has, I think, a bigger impact on our own individual lives and course of action and journey than I think than I think a lot of people give it credit for.
You said something right there at the end that I think is important to understand in terms of these seasons and the journey and why they're alongside you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will keep someone in their orbit um, out of guilt
Mm.
or, again, the
Mhm.
sunk cost fallacy. I've
Mhm.
been friends with
Yeah.
Jane ever since we were 7. And so even though there's absolutely nothing we have in common anymore. I've moved away. She wants to be a botanist. I
In Borneo?
absolutely can't stand plants and I would love to be a rock star or whatever. I mean, but we're like, oh, I have to go see. When if catch yourself saying, I have to go, I'm going, I have to call Jinx, I'm in town, I have to call her because if I don't, then that should be like 2
Great
people
red
standing
flag.
with their red flags going, woo. So really notice when you start saying, oh, I have to, or you start doing that. I have
Ugh.
the word is an absolute soul shriek from the bottom of your
Yes.
soul saying, you don't want to do this. Why are you doing this? So
Yes.
just these are
The
little
body
clues.
knows.
Well, it does. And the thing is I think, and I so many times we keep people in our groups and our friend groups because we don't want people to think I'm a mean person or I'm a bitch or I'm a snob or I forgot where I came from. I freaking love that one because oh my
Oh,
god, the times I've heard, don't forget where you come from. Well,
really?
believe me, I remember. I know exactly where I came from. So I mean, it's just, but those are, oh, there's a saying and it's an absolute paraphrase. So apologies because I'm going to bungle this up. But it's I think it was, oh, Steve. Uh, anyway, it's like if you are surrounded by people who cannot and will not let you forget anything that's ever happened in your past and
Mm.
they're not interested in your future, you need to go. You need to let that particular phase go. And so I'm kind of off topic on this, but it's just that one of the things that I think you said too, Christine, is they're not necessarily the wrong people as if they're bad people. They are misaligned for you. They are the wrong person for where you are in your life. So when we
Yes.
say the word they're the wrong people, it's not that they're bad people or they don't deserve to
Right.
live or we should just ship them off to an island.
Right.
It's because they don't fit who you are any longer or what you want
Yes.
any longer or where you're going any longer. And so I like the
Because you've grown.
well, exactly. It's like I'm not wearing the same pants I wore when I was in second grade. Is anyone else in there wearing the same pants? And
I hope not. Unless you're in second grade right now. And then
there you go.
great. You probably
Absolutely.
shouldn't be watching
For
us
all
because
those
we
8 years old out there, if there's any 8-year-olds out there, you're past your bedtime very soon. Go brush your teeth.
Right.
But I'd like to kind of revisit and get some of your opinions on what are some of the signs? How can we tell when the people we're with were misaligned? So I think that I have to go see them. That's one of my hints, along with the
Yes.
feeling. So that's what I'm mine. What about you? What do you
Oh
think?
my God, I have a few. I'm like, oh my God, are you in my brain or in my like personal notes that I was preparing for this? So, like, you're like going down the line. It's kind of uncanny.
It's kind of scary.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah. So I literally like labeled it red flags of like when your inner circle's holding you back. And one of them is when they are downplaying your dreams. And it's like, if you have this dream or even just this idea that you're like super excited about and your friends consistently, I want to make sure that I underscore the continually or more often than not or consistently downplay your dream, especially if it's your dream. But if it's like you're going to start a side hustle or you're going to start a business or you have this dream to ride a camel in the desert, I don't care what it is. If it's like this thing that you want to do and they're like, that's dumb. Why would you want to do that? Or you're going to get sunburned or you're going to, you don't speak the language. How are you going to do that? Or like when they're, and in that kind of tone, not in a like, wow, that's amazing. How are you going to do that? Like, that's great, right? They're like with you on that journey. And they're just actually just thinking logically through, like, I have questions, like fun questions of like, that's cool. And they're like picturing the journey with you. But if they're instead like poo pooing the idea and being like, people like us don't do that. Or, things along those lines. I'm like hearkening back to like your comment of like, remember where you came from. It's like the analogy. I think it's an analogy or the comparison of crabs in a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
If one crab starts to be adventurous and start to try to explore what's on the outside of the bucket, the rest of the crabs are like, no, 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 it's not safe. Get back down here with the rest of us and die. Even though they don't know that that's what's happening, but they're like, unknown, scary, big thing. We don't know what's out there. So that's a whole lot of words to say if people are downplaying your dreams. Huge red flag. I'll stop there for comments.
No, but I think that one of those, the thing that you were saying about that is a combination. Also, it's been called tall poppy syndrome.
Yes. Yes.
People, it's called, if you want to do tall poppy syndrome, that's another way that other people who might be in your orbit are using their fears to measure your dreams. So again, with a paraphrase, it's basically there's a difference between, I liked how you talked about the difference between the question about, there's a difference between a naysayer and a what I call the blind side friend, who's going to say, ooh, tell me how you're going to do that. I'd love to, and then let's brainstorm it together, or maybe I can help you figure out a better way to get a plane ticket to France or Borneo.
Or Borneo, right? Exactly.
But it's like those the people are like, Yeah, but to your point, it's like you don't speak French. That means you have to learn French to go to
Right.
France. And I've heard the French are super rude, which, by the way, they are totally not. I got lost in France, in Paris once, and there was just,
Mhm.
as long as you can say where is où avez and you say thank you, it's
Yeah.
anyway. But the difference between the people who want what's best for you and have your back are different than the people who, I want what's best for you just so that you can stay right here next to me and never grow and move anywhere because I
Mhm.
want you here. You
Bless
serve
your
my
heart
needs
with all
here.
those big dreams.
Oh, well, I don't. Well, I have got to go take a course from a Southerner on the how to say bless your heart. But I mean,
Mhm.
absolutely, there's definitely a don't change because I like you the way you are,
Yes.
and so those five people are very important. But I'd like to talk a little bit more about um, the um, what people in your group talk about. So it's like the big
Mm.
minds. What is it? The big minds discuss
The lion.
ideas. Little
Oh, a lion
people
doesn't
talk.
concern itself with the opinions of sheep is one.
No, well, that's one.
Oh, I know.
And the folks I'm talking with are excited about building something really cool
Yeah.
or whatever. They're not talking about, do you know that she gained 7 pounds? Yeah, she
Yeah.
did. She's
They're
like
not
blown up like a balloon. And then,
small
no, well,
minds.
I heard that
Small minds
he
talk about
left her.
small
And I
minds.
mean, it's just, hello? Still there?
Yeah. It's getting a little choppy. I don't. Again, I
I
can't
was
tell
going to
if
be
it's just me or if it's gonna that's gonna go through for everybody. But yeah, so like the small minds talk about people, big minds, or I don't know the phrase, like talk
big minds
about
talk about ideas or something like that.
ideas. Yeah.
So that's another indicator of what type of group you're going to want to surround yourself with because
Hmm.
one of the best ways that I've grown as a person is to be in a group of other people who are interested in creating things. Now, they might not want to create the same thing I want to create. Like
That's
the
fine.
example I'm having this training program that I'm going through right now is I'm in the room with 15 other people who are extremely intelligent. They know their own individual businesses and disciplines and industries, but we all share a common goal and interest in the specific topic that
Hmm.
we're studying. And so we get all geeky about different areas of study or different things about a building or so none of us would say to each other, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, or what, it just,
Right.
there's just not that. We're all joined by a similar in- so anyway, kind
Yeah,
of,
you have that common thread
what's another
together
red
that
flag?
you share.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other
I
thing
would
that
love to hear what else kind of,
you would love
I
to
was
hear
going to
what
ask
else
you about
what?
the more red flags.
Oh yeah,
I was going to
so
ask you about the other red flags.
yeah, so well, real quick before we go into that, just a personal story of what you're talking about of the small minds talk about people. Um, I remember hearing that quote and being and having a bit of an aha moment, even though I butchered that quote when you brought it up. Um, and I am trying to think of how I de-identify this story because I hadn't thought about this until just now, or I haven't thought about it for a while. I was a member of a gym here in Chicago, and we were just there was just a group of us just hanging around talking, right, as we were wont to do, and because you go to a same place often enough, you start to make friends, you start to make connections, and you start to like chat with folks, right? Well, I noticed a pattern that some of the people in the group liked to discuss the lives and happenings of some other members that I none of us actually really needed to know about, to be frankly to be honest, and to be frank, and so I literally just I didn't even excuse myself. I just walked away because I'm like, in a past version of me would have made up some excuse and like sort of interrupted the conversation to stop it and to like try to deflect or whatnot. But like at this point in my life, I was like, yeah, I'm out, and I'm like, me leaving is part of making a point. Like, I'm not even saying bye. I'm just like, and one of the gals was came like followed me and was like, what was that? And I was like, I'm not hanging around that. Like, fuck that. Like, frankly, I'm like, I'm not here. I'm here to work out, first of all. Like, second, I'm not here to like discuss the personal lives of people who are not also in that conversation. And so they did eventually, like, it happened a couple other times, and I like promptly was like, and this is my exit, see ya. And like they finally noticed, and at least, in the very least, stop talking about other people in my presence. I'm sure that as soon as I left, they probably started talking about me, which, gotta love them. That's fine. Anyways, so yeah, personal story.
Well, two things from that I got.
Woo! Woo!
We found there's the balloons again. Apparently,
What?
now I can't make it do it. I'm doing the peace sign, and now there's no balloons.
That's
There
awesome.
were balloons, right? There were balloons.
There were balloons. We all saw that. I was
Thank
like,
you.
what is this red thing?
Why do I get the balloons? Anyway,
Oh, that is fantastic.
two things that I took away from that is that, one, you, the royal you, teach other people how to treat you
Yes.
by what you will tolerate.
Yes.
And they did. They're like, well, don't talk about this around Christine. But to your second point, it's entirely possible and probable that they did talk about you in your absence, because someone who will talk about other people to your in your presence will certainly talk about you when you're not there. So FYI,
none of us are immune.
One of the things
in that scenario.
No, they're not. No. So and it's absolutely an energy suck, because when gossip is it even sounds like a leak, doesn't it? Gossip.
Oh,
it's a freaking energy leap, because whenever you are spending your energy and your focus and your time talking about who's sleeping around with who, or who's not wearing the right color pants, or whatever weirdo thing you've decided to gossip about, you're taking energy out of what could be feeding you and developing you, and you're pushing it away from you.
Yes.
And you might as well just be like throwing, I don't know, energy balls into the air, or money, or think of something that refers to money, or that refers to energy for you. And that's basically what you're doing when you're leaking out energy. When you gossip, just think of deflation. You're deflating.
I love that.
Yeah. Something else that I wanted to make sure we chatted about, though, is how do you change? How do you change to 5 people if you don't like the people you're around, or you've identified?
Are you in my Google Doc?
No, I'm not.
I swear to God.
I'm just sharing the brain. But I mean,
how do you curate a better circle? Sorry, I'm having.
So we've seen the signs. We've heard the signs. We've started to believe your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your gut. If your spidey senses go off when you're around somebody, I don't care if she or he earns shit tons of money and they have their best suit on. If your spidey senses go off when you're around this person, and you know in your heart of hearts, I don't need to be around this person. Mm-hmm. Honor that, because the longer you stay in a place where you know you do not belong and you don't want to be, you are deadening your spidey sense. You might as well be cutting off your intuition, like.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Anyway,
did I want to throw in a quick stat here. I think I did not mention that there was a research study. I'm just gonna read this because I don't want to botch it like I did the quote earlier. So some related research on this, and you can look it up if you want to verify. A 2011 study published in PLOS One the word one, showed that obesity spreads through social networks. If a friend becomes obese, your own risk increases by 57%. There was also an earlier study that came about that I think this first was published in. It was called Framingham Heart Study in 2007. So it has been in at least two major studies. So 57%, that's no joke, man. And that's just obesity. That's a physical manifestation of friends' influence, not just a psychological influence, which is easier to pass on in theory.
So one of the things that reminds me of that finding is a tangent of, I'm not sure anyone who's listening has ever heard of social contagion, but
The movie
it's
or the
essentially
phenomenon?
no the I actually wrote a blog post about this, and I think we posted it in FutureU a month ago after things started going sideways in a very
Gestures
systemic
at everything.
Yeah, gestures and everything. It's like
my new favorite gesture, like,
it's like, oh my god. So the thing is that social contagion is real, and it's one of the reasons bank runs happen. It's one of the reasons.
Oh yeah, the
You know,
stock
all sorts of things.
market crashes.
It's one of the reasons why it's very difficult to say and sound like I'm really glib or whatever, but. And this isn't really about your friends per se right now directly, but I would really encourage you to limit your exposure to things that you know are going to make you sad or pain or
Yes.
whatever, because you may as well be marinating in toxic, tar.
Sludge.
Absolutely. So the same goes for your friends. So if all they have to talk about is how crappy things are, things you're going to be getting, how nothing is fair, how you're going to absorb those feelings and mannerisms, um and that isn't to say that you shouldn't notice when things are not ideal, because those are the opportunities for you and your friends or whomever to say these are some solutions that we can bring to this situation. But marinating in pain is only going to make you be in pain. So
Yeah.
going back to how to break out of your ruts, or how to segue into different levels. It it One of the best ways you can do it in moderation is to start to follow people in your social streams who model the behavior to which you aspire. So if
And you're speaking specifically like social media?
Yes. So like in this particular case, so like let's say that you would like to learn how to be a better gardener. Follow people who garden, people who talk about plants, people who talk about how to build a greenhouse or things like that, because you're going to find that the you've heard of the halo effect. So the other people who are following that person are going to probably talk about heirloom seeds, or when's the best time to do this, or I live in Portland, can I grow this, and I live in Maine, I don't know, and blah blah blah, and that conversation talks about things that you all share. And then let's say again that your former friend circle just absolutely is like, their idea of gardening is going to the produce department and buying it already cut and clean, thank you so much. They don't want to go weed, they don't want to go build and stake out peas for a weekend. So, I mean, those are just areas where you can say, you know what, I really do love these folks. And you really might love them and say, but you know what? I will bring a salad to our next gathering. Because as long as they don't say, oh my God, she's going to go garden again, who gives a shit? They might go, one more thing and then I'll be quiet. I love this thing that not Tina Fey, brain.
Amy Poehler? Oh no, you froze.
Yes, please.
You're frozen. Oh no. Unfreeze. Unfreeze. Oh no.
Me now?
Oh, wait. I can hear you. I can't. You're still frozen.
Now? I thanks. Okay, so can you hear me?
Kinda.
Nope.
Almost. Nope.
Annoying.
Leslie, nope.
Dang it.
Oh, wait. Oh, I think you're back.
Because I can see you.
Oh, I think you're back.
Hello?
Kinda. Oh, gosh. It's freezing in fun ways.
This is really annoying. What is up with this, Verizon?
Oh, there you go.
How about now?
Better. Yes.
Dang. Okay. So before I go away again, one of the things that Amy Poehler says in her book,
Oh,
Yes, Please,
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
is,
That's such a good book.
she says, good for her, not for me. I love that quote. And so as long as your friends don't think you're a terrible person or stupid for gardening, they're just like, you know what? Molly likes gardening help. Good for her, not for me.
Not for me.
And then what you do is you bring them some of your gardening stuff the next time you have brunch and say, hey, I grew this in my garden. And they're like, this is really nice, Molly. Awesome.
Yeah. So like related to that and like how you know you have the right circle is again like personal story literally from earlier today. I will name her because she's going to be one of our speakers at some point for our collab. Dr. Sarah is she and I were texting, and she and I have both been on this fitness journey because we both really like value being strong, right? Like we're not just trying to get skinny or whatever. Like we want to be stronger women physically, especially as we.
Oh no! Now you froze.
Oh no.
I heard skinny, and then you did, and then I saw this.
Yeah, so we want to it's not that we want to be skinny, it's that we want to be strong, especially as we get into our hardcore menopause years and our menopausal journey as we eke closer and closer upon those days. So really trying to like get as much strength and muscle as we can before it all goes to pot. Right. So anyways, we are constantly like sending each other like Instagram messages about like fitness routines and like, look at this broad doing pull-ups. I love the term broad, by the way. Sorry, I mean it in a loving way, not in the like 1930s way. Like that's freaking badass. I want to be able to do that. So good for her. Yes, for me. Anyways, we've been tracking our protein intake through MyFitnessPal. If you want to sponsor us, MyFitnessPal, please do. It's been interesting. It was stressful for me at first because I was like neurotic about it. Not quite. I don't want to use actual like medical terms. But anyways, I was getting anxious about it. And so anyways, I sent her a photo of my salad today. And I was like, look at this big ass salad I made. And she was like, good for you, ma'am. She's from Tennessee. And so she ma'amed me. But I love it. It's adorable. And it was great because there are other people I know I could have sent that same photo, same message to, because there was a message with it. It wasn't just like, look at the photo of this stupid salad. But, and I would have had a completely different response. And it's noted, and I know that. So, yeah. So just an example of how you know you have the right crew around you. Some other way that you can curate a better circle is identify the people who inspire you just because they're themselves. Like similar to what you're talking about, Molly, with the gardener. Like you're really into that. Great. Yes for you. No for me. But I'm still really excited for you about that. And like I love you for who you are, not because we have the same taste in gardening or we have the same green thumbs. So and then also
Well, so one of the ways that I also think that you can think about keeping friends that you love, and going back to, just because you were friends in seventh grade doesn't mean you can still be you don't have to still be friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those friends do flux and grow with you. So let's
Yes.
say I want to start running and I want to do the Chicago Marathon next year. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. But
I encourage it. Everyone should do it.
I might do the Shamrock one because
Oh, there you
Jessica
go.
inspired me. But
It's a good
because
one.
anyway, but it's
Same
like,
amount of people run that race that's an 8K race, just for fun. This is a tangent, sorry.
no, this is good info.
Shamrock Shuffle is an 8K race, so like 6-ish, like almost 6 miles. And the last time I checked the actual entrance, the number of entrants, it was 42,000 people for the Chicago Marathon. That's exactly how many people, well, not exactly, but like basically the same amount of people that run the Shamrock Shuffle. So a 26.2 mile race, the marathon, 42,000 people on an 8K course. So anyways, it's just a very long, there's a lot of start corrals at the very beginning of it. So you get there super early. But it's such a fun race, and they have really great swag. So I highly encourage it. If you run it next year, let me know, because I will dust off my running shoes.
Okay, so
We
that's
could have
kind
a
of neat. Now
FutureU Shamrock Shuffle group
there you
run.
go. But that would be fun. But when the point I'm is that, let's say that your friend from seventh grade doesn't run a marathon with you, but she does say run is going to hurt your hips, and women are supposed to be running, and the person who is going to be the friend that you want to keep in your circle is going to be the one who will be maybe riding her bike and pacing you while
Mm-hmm.
you train.
Mm-hmm.
Or she might say, hey, I'll definitely make sure you get down there on time. I'll drop you off at the entry point so that you don't have to worry about whatever. They will support your goal, even if they
Yeah.
don't necessarily want to run next to you. So those are
Mm-hmm.
just some ways, because I know that there's a lot of
Get
folks
brunch
who
with you afterwards.
get
Make a
really into
sign for
fitness.
you. Cheer for you on
Yeah, yeah,
along the path.
yep, yep. There's
Yeah.
a lot of ways that you can have fluctuations in a friendship without
Mm-hmm.
always being the exact same. So I hope that everyone is taking away from this. We're not asking you to just dump all your friends because
No.
you want to start your own business, or you want to learn how to be a quilter or whatever. It doesn't mean that you
Mm-hmm.
just say, well, you don't fit my life anymore. See ya, Sally. Hit the
See you.
bricks.
Bye. You're out.
It's it's just
Oh,
it's
and that's an
more in
interesting.
terms of to our, oh well, it's just more about the alignment model. I mean, it's really about
Yeah.
really going through those awareness and
Mm-hmm.
different stages to make sure that where you are and who you're with are still moving in the same direction in a healthy and supportive way. You were going to say
Absolutely.
something, so
No, yeah, God, so many things. Like, you just hit on some really great points. But the one that I really want to hit on is that just because you have different, like, it's good that we have differences, but we can support each other those ways, right? Like, it would be boring if we were interested in the same exact thing, right? Like, if it was a homogenous series of interests, right? Like, that's lame. Like, that I like to have those differences, right? Like, you and I think along very much like similar paths, right? But even in this conversation, there's things that about that I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that. That's interesting, and I have questions. And so, like, things that we can have a conversation about. If we're all thinking along the same lines, that's not great. And that's why, little bit of a tangent, but relevant, I cannot stand the phrase like-minded anymore. I don't want like-minded. I want growth-minded. I want people who are similar but different. Like we are in the same general, like, trajectory, but going about it in our own ways. So the other thing I wanted to point out is that another fun little stat to sprinkle in is that there was a Harvard Business Review article that shared that people with strong social support are twice as likely to thrive in the workplace and have a 50% higher productivity level. That's fascinating. So if you have oh, there's also this amazing stat about women specifically in the workplace that I can't conjure at the moment, but so the social networks for women are even more impactful for us than our male counterparts when it comes to like our career trajectory and just career success in general. And if I can find the stat on that, I'll throw that in the description after the fact.
That's actually one of the reasons why it's fun for me to watch the WNBA and watch
Mm.
professional basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, I mean, aside from the fact that as a Hawkeye, and my love of Caitlin Clark, uh, um, my one of my upstairs neighbors writes for the WNBA, and
Mm.
so it's fun to sit on our stoop and talk about um, the sports and the collaborative type of environment where the energy of women supporting women in sports is just really wonderful to see. And there's a couple, again, to, earlier we were talking about different social media accounts to
Mm-hmm.
follow. I really do like finding um, accounts that elevate and celebrate other people,
Yes.
because that's a subliminal way of getting out of your own head and thinking in terms of scarcity models. There's only so much to go around, and I can make sure that my kids are taken care of and I'm taken care of, but anyone else can just go, take a flying leap at a rolling donut and good luck with them. I mean, who gives a rat's ass if they starve or whatever, because I got mine.
Mm.
That really have, to your point earlier, creatures. And so we're going to naturally congregate into little pods. And there's another social stat about the amount of people you can hold in your network. It's like 150, I think,
Yes.
in terms of how many people you can manage in your brain about
Yep.
your associates and whatnot. So anyway, I feel as if I've gotten off the topic, but one of the things that you really want to
We,
do is look at who is in your circle
yeah.
and how are they influencing your life and how are they adding to your life and how are you adding to theirs, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't want to like
Reciprocity is
suggest
a
like
thing.
take inventory, but also like I'm not saying that is just notice, pay attention, like Molly was saying, with our aligned method, the A stands for awareness. And so make sure that you like literally every single episode that we have done of Empower Hour so far has centered around the general theme of drawing attention to and awareness of whatever topic that we're talking about. And that is the key to any change you want to make for yourself or for others in your organization or your family, but specifically yourself.
So two things that you said that I wanted to make sure that I didn't space. One, I'm reading this book by Joe Dispenza.
How to break the habit of becoming yourself.
Yes. Yeah. It's basically break the habit of being yourself. And he talks about how much of our life is on autopilot. We
Yeah.
get out of bed on the same side of the bed. We brush our teeth in the same way. We have the same breakfast or the same varieties of breakfast. We get in the car. We drive the same direction. And he says, you're
Unless you have
really
ADHD and then everything's a
established.
little spicy.
Well, there you go. So I remember one time I was driving the girls to school and I totally shot past the street because I was thinking about the YWCA for something. I don't know why. And then my kid in the back is like, Mom, Mom. But anyway, but most of us do just kind of sleepwalk through our
Yeah.
lives, and we have the people that we see at lunch. So we sit at the same table. We go to and when I went to the gym as a single parent, I had different people that I would see at different times because the 5 a.m. group is completely different from the noon
Oh,
ball people.
for
So, I
sure.
mean, you are really placing yourself in a space where um, you're either living the same day for 73 days, 73 years in a row,
Mm-hmm.
or you're gathering information and determining where you want to be. And the second thing that you said, oh, Christine,
Oh,
what were you saying? Awareness is one. Beans. I should have wrote it down.
I didn't say anything about beans. No,
No.
I'm just teasing.
Damn. It was something about the awareness is one in terms of people sleepwalking through and muscle memory and whatnot. Well, if it comes back, it'll come back.
Oh, sorry. I was
No,
listening so hard. I forgot what I said before that.
no, it was my fault. It was my. I tend
That's
to
okay. You
think
never
in
know what
tangents, and
tangent
then
you're
I
gonna get in.
sometimes run to the.
That's okay.
It'll
You
come
know what?
back.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed at just how much we have to say about this topic. We don't even have time at this point for Magic Hat,
Damn.
which is fine.
And I even have it next year. Well, the one thing I really want people to take away from the friends is that I want to say one more thing about if you find yourself in a space where you can't change your friends, but you can change your friends.
Yep.
So don't, and I don't like to say don't to people, but please don't think that you have to honor someone else's opinion at the expense of your own sanity or safety. So don't let anyone else guilt you about staying in a place that you know is not healthy for you. Because the thing that I would love for you to understand, as someone who has moved through so many different iterations of herself from the time I was a teenager, you will grow if you want to grow. And the cool thing is that there's always room for where you want to go. We live in an expanding, beautiful, loving universe. And the world is much bigger than those 5 people you're surrounded with if you feel as if you're in the wrong space. And by wrong, I mean misaligned. So step out in faith and understand that the groups that you seek exist. And so I just want that to be a big takeaway is if you feel and you're listening to this and you're like, but I can't leave because da, 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 da.
You can.
You can.
It might be hard. We're not saying that any of this is easy by any means. Please do not misconstrue this conversation. A lot of this is hard, but it's worth it. It is worth doing the work. It is worth doing it for yourself and for your dreams. And if you truly want those dreams, what?
That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
In becoming yourself, you do make your world better.
Yes.
So go back to what you're saying. So
no, that was it. I was gonna say like that was it. Yes, 100%. You are not making you are not only making your world, your immediate world better, you are making the world better, because when we are all pursuing, listen, like, life is not pizza. There is not a finite amount of slices and that's it, right? Like, going back to like what you're talking about, scarcity, right? Like, a lot of times we look at it like there's only so much money. Like, bitch, they'll make more money, right? And also there's like so much out there that, like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, it's all a game. It's all a game with made up rules that, like, people just happen to agree to play along with, and sometimes not, and then they go to jail. But in general, all of the rules that we subscribe to are, like, kind of made up, right? And it's only that because we believe in them that gives them power, right? And so, like, if you are under this belief that you have to stay friends with your best friend from 3rd grade for your entire life, is that serving you? Maybe it is. Like, one of my best friends is still my friend Jenny from 6th grade, right? So, here we are. I'm not going to say how many years later, and we still chat, at least over Instagram, every week, at least, if not every other day. And so, there are people that are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And cliche as that may be at this point, it's true. Like, everyone is here for a specific amount of time. There was this amazing graphic, and I wish I had this handy, but it was a lovely illustration of like 6 different just doodles. Basically, it looked like doodles. It's just like hand drawn lines of, like, your parents is one line, right? And then you, and then this line being your parents just stops and you keep going. Right. And then like your dog, which is probably gonna make me cry when I think about this, but like, just very like whoop, and then your line keeps going. Clearly, I was gonna say, I'm like, when I saw that graphic and just the 6 different instances, it really got me verklempt. And even just thinking about it now, has
Talk
me
about
thinking.
yourselves.
Yeah, right. Talk about yourselves.
Talk about
But it was
yourselves.
really interesting and just really fascinating. Of like, we only have so much time, and who we spend it with really matters. And don't waste your energy playing in the wrong fields.
Yep. Yep. I
So
remember, this is totally not related, but it's sort of related, is that when my kids uh, were just getting out of grade school and junior high and stuff, I actually was one of those parents who kept going to the junior high concerts because I like to support the kids and they're cute and it's you pay
yeah.
$3 for a ticket and and I had gone to one where it was the grade school kids and
Uh-huh.
so you see all these third graders. They're like these little 8-year olds, and it's the song, and I can't remember what it's like. I'm 16 for a moment, da 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 da, and it was just like their little sweet little voices were singing about the arc of your life, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting in the back seat of the
Uh-huh.
freaking gym sobbing
Oh no.
because all I could see is these little teeny tiny 8-year olds growing up and doing their thing, and it's just like it's just, you're absolutely right, Christine. It's like, first of all, theoretically and talking from a cosmic perspective, nothing ends, and we all just are doing whatever type of bouncing around in the stratosphere and whatever. We're
Hey,
we're
hey,
we're
hey,
energy.
keep it G rated. What kind of
Well, yeah,
bouncing around you talking
we're,
about over there?
you know, there's a comedian that was interviewing Neil deGrasse Tyson about
Yeah.
molecules. I think you actually sent me that one. But it's like we are energy and we are consciousness. But right now, that consciousness is spending at least, 100 years or so max, maybe 115, I think is the oldest human, maybe
I think
118.
121.
I can't remember.
I
Yeah,
think we're at
maybe
the
it was even
120s
120.
now.
But most of us top out between 80 and 90. So
Top out. I love
knock on
that.
wood. So
Shit, man. I don't
you
know if I want
never
to live
know
that
what's going
long.
to happen. You never know what's going to happen on an Empower Hour. But it's
That's
like
true.
there's another thing, and maybe we can put this on our LinkedIn page. By the way, if you're not on LinkedIn, or if you are on LinkedIn and you're not following FutureU, please go look at we've got an official page out there that we're starting to populate and put some neat stuff on. But
Yes.
what I'd like to put out is this thing. It's like, where are you in weeks? And it's like you put your birth date, and this chart pops up, and it shows you how many weeks you've been on the planet and how much you have left based on statistical averages. And when you look at a grid and you see that like over 3/4 of those little babies are filled in, it really gives you some perspective. So, Mary Oliver, what are you going to do with this one precious life of yours? Are you going to
Mm.
piss it away with people who bitch about who has
Mhm.
more widgets and grommets, or are you going to use it to fucking be
Yeah.
yourself? Make
Yeah.
yourself yourself.
Oh, I love that. Make yourself yourself.
Be, man. This is it. This is it. Wow. Okay. All right. How are we doing on time? I think we're officially. Do we want to talk
We
about
officially
Adrian,
we
or do you have any
officially hit
more on?
we officially hit the empowered hour.
Oh, okay. But I do want to make sure we mention Adrian because
Oh, absolutely.
that's
Please
the 26th.
take it away. Yeah,
No, but I don't have on my
23rd.
notes. It's the 26th,
Third.
23rd at 11 a.m. We will send out. You can. There's like the add to your calendar thing that we'll promote and whatnot. But pencil it in because Adrian is the founder of Trash Friends in here in Logan Square, and his company is a cleaner. They actually won a reader poll, the Chicago Reader poll, as the best cleaning company in Chicago, which was really awesome. And he specifically works with folks with ADHD, AU, ADHD, and I don't know if he'll talk about Autism Awareness Month or not, but one of the things that he works with specifically is hoarding and how it affects people who are on the spectrum or people who have ADHD. And it's not sensationalized, and he's not going to talk about hoarders on TV, and it's not going to be uh, sensational, but it's going to be about some of the things that you might find that you're experiencing for yourself that could be inadvertently holding you back. And he'll have some tips on how to navigate your life more successfully without shame. That's one of the things that's super impressive about Adrian's heart, is just the kindest person. So oh yeah, good. There's a little transform your life one weekly email at a time. So just go out and subscribe to our newsletter. It's meetfutureu.com/newsletter, and you'll get all the goodies, all the info that we have to share with you. But I hope you'll join us for that, because Adrian is one of the sponsors of FutureU, and it's just I know it's going to be great, because every time we talk with him, I learn something, and he's just amazing. And to the point of today's conversation is that he's someone that you really want to have in your orbit. He's kind, he's smart, he gets shit done.
Boy, does he.
So those are the things. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking about Adrian, because I know we want to talk about one more thing.
Yeah. So
go.
the other thing that we recently launched, so we've been hearing from, we're really big here at FutureU. We're really big on listening to user feedback. So not to get super cheesy about it, but hey, one of the things that we've been hearing from our community is two things. One is private coaching. We've had collab, the group coaching program, since about January, and that's when that launched. And over the course of the past literally 3 months, we've been asked for private coaching, and so that is something that's available now. And you can go to meetfutureu.com, and you can check out our 90-day personal sprint. We're setting it up so that it's approachable. It is a short time frame. You're going to focus on one specific goal, and we're gonna help you get through it and get to it over those 90 days. The other thing that we've been hearing from the community at large and the world is also bringing the ideas and everything that we're talking about here at FutureU and during Empower Hour to more of corporate teams and just businesses in general. So workshops that actually work is how we talk about them, because we've all been in that, like, oh, mandatory fun. We have to go to this presentation for work, and oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. It's going to be a snooze fest. This is not it. Okay. If you've paid attention to any of our, participated in any of our Empower Hours, you know that Molly and I are anything but boring. We're definitely anything but normal.
No knife juggling, though. Although I may learn, just knife juggling. I might learn.
I can't say I know how to do that. I do know how to juggle, but not knives. I haven't tried knives. I've done bowling pins. I have done scarves, which is
I did not know that.
I can
so
juggle
cool.
a tennis ball. But yeah, I haven't done it in years. I used to be pretty good at juggling. Anyways, for no particular reason. Oh, the joys of having ADHD, I'm assuming. You hyperfixate on things until you get good at it. You get good at a lot of different things. Anyways, we bring all of those types of skills and more to our corporate workshops, where we help your team from a leadership standpoint. If it's a small leadership team, 3 to 8-ish, depending on how large your company is, get clarity and get you all moving in the same direction. And then we also do that for teams as well. So you can get more information in the link below, meetfutureu.com/teams. And so thank you all so much for being here. If you made it through this entire hour, my goodness, I feel like we should give people a prize. Uh, but hopefully, you've gotten a prize already in that you now feel equipped in how to evaluate your inner circle, evaluate how you're spending your energy, and how to guide your path more intentionally instead of just, like Molly was saying, instead of just being on autopilot and letting your life just unfold without your influence.
Examination.
So,
Yeah.
examination. Exactly. So
If
yeah,
you,
so thank you for being here.
yeah. We will be here next Tuesday at
Yes,
6.
next Tuesday. Thank you
So
so
I hope,
much, Molly.
yeah, I hope you
Next
will be
Tuesday,
too.
our topic is God, this is something I kind of joke, but I'm not joking, is that boundaries are self-care. So we're talking about
Oh,
the joke is that, like, I want this on my tombstone, but I don't want to be buried. But anyways, but boundaries and self-care as a power move is next week's topic. So if you subscribe to our newsletter, we will be able to send you that link. Or if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which, if you're not subscribed already and you're still here after an hour and 8 minutes, like, what are you doing? Just hit that subscribe button, friend. And we'll see you next week. Take care. Thank you so much. Goodbye.